What's up? Jared here, ramblings of an LGS owner. Um, I apologize for lack of video content, like I've said in the other one, Friday. Allergies have been terrible this time of the year for me for some reason. Super bad. Like I said, it kind of borderline like sinus infection area there for about 4 days. But I'm better despite the way I sound, and I apologize for that. I'm way more nasally and monotone than normal just because it is what it is, guys. And there will be a lot of deep breaths and stuff because this is still plugged up and it's just a little hard to breathe and talk at the same time. Those of you who suffer from allergies completely know what I'm talking about. So, anyways, the reason that I'm making this video, and I did make one yesterday, but the more I thought about it, the more I didn't like it. So I wanted to kind of re-record the subject matter. The subject matter at hand is kind of I don't know, it's going to sound like I'm throwing shade and being a whiny little bastard and, being jealous and envious. And, like, realistically, I mean, I'm human, sure, that's probably about 5%, maybe 10% of the reason why I'm doing this video is because, like, the hell, but that's just the human in me. I can't do anything about that. I'm working on it, but I can't do anything about that right now. So there's a dude I watch. I don't really subscribe to his channel. If he's in the recommended, I'll watch it. Otherwise, I just kind of like let it be. But so there's a dude that I watch, and he, and no, I'm not name dropping or anything like that because that's just not, no. Anyways, he proclaimed to be like, let's start this TCG business from scratch kind of thing, and it turns out to be from scratch. He does tell you, I think in one of the first or second videos he ever does, that there is another business on top of what he's doing, but he doesn't really tell you what it is, I don't believe. If he did, I forgot about it, which, that's fine. No one needs to know 100% of everything that you do or anything like that. However, for transparency's sake, when you're trying to talk about starting something from scratch, it would probably have been better for him to be like, this business, does pretty well. And again, he may have said that, but if he did, I didn't hear it or I forgot. But anyways, you could tell right off of the bat, though, that the guy was doing well. His setup is professional, his mic is professional, the camera is professional, he's got the laptop and all that good stuff, his own little dedicated area, so forth and so forth. And he was just talking about, like, let's start this TCG business from scratch. I'm just going to start selling on TCG Player, see what happens, source products where he can for cheap and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, cool. Not kind of red flaggy for someone like me who just kind of, like, did it. And I'll get more into that later. But the more you watch the dude, the more videos you see, the more tidbits that he keeps, like, being able to upgrade and expand on, you should automatically see that this guy is not as genuine as he's trying to portray himself. He goes from, selling a couple of singles or whatever, working his way up to, like, level 4 seller to, like, magically, I don't know, just letting it flow that, yeah, I'm going to buy a fizz batch, which is like a $5,000 down payment, and the machine itself is like 16,000 or 18,000, or it's somewhere around there. I forget the exact number, but it's not chump change. And then he's like, yeah, I'm going to get the fizz batch, and then, I'm going to use that to cycle through the 30 boxes of Modern Horizons 3 I have, and about the 40 boxes of Thunder Junction, and, he just lists a shit ton of boxes that he just has in the waiting. And it's like, bro, you just started this from scratch like 4 months ago, and look at where you're at. The other business, obviously, is super fucking successful, is feeding this way more than it probably should, and you're out there being like, I'm just selling stuff from scratch. Let's see what we can do. He he he. And it's like, you're an asshole. Because, like, he just did a video, I don't know, like maybe a week ago or some shit, where he's like, I'm starting an actual brick and mortar LGS now. Surprise, surprise. Like, we didn't see that one coming. But, like, the shop that he's going to open up, dude, that's, from what I just gathered watching the snippets, he had to have spent $200,000 or $300,000 just probably getting the space, renovations, everything else in there. Like, we're not talking about some kind of a legitimate ground up grassroots, holy shit, what am I going to do with this, $300? Do I reinvest it into the business, or do I pay myself, kind of thing, so, like, at that point I was just like, man, this dude's a dick. Like, and I wonder how many more of them are actually out there, because I don't go searching intentionally for shit like this. It just kind of pops up because I watch other YouTubers that are, mainstream or whatnot, and then you just get the recommended, and you just kind of, oh, hey, that's kind of cool. So anyways, and I'm not throwing shade at the guy's success. He obviously has put in the work to make it work and everything. So, like, kudos to him at the end of the day. It is what it is, dude. I get it. But you shouldn't have, and I don't really want to say it like this, but, like, and I mean it in the best way possible. You shouldn't have branded that particular channel as, I'm starting a TCG store from scratch, because you're not. That starting a TCG store from scratch is, I don't know, like what Louis did from fucking Kitchen Table and what Rob did from fucking RNG. It's like, shit, well, I really want to do this. I have some shit that I can sell, like I did, to start it up and then see what the fuck happens. Rob put back a couple of years of stuff in the making, and, like, him and his wife do card shows and stuff, so he was making contacts with the card shows. Like, there was a legitimate ground roots organic build up to what they have now. But anywho, with this particular dude, it made me really think about, like, how many more of these guys are out there? How many more are just kind of like, and I hate to say this too, but like grifting on the, look at me, I'm just like you. I started this from scratch, even though the business that I have behind me is like a $600,000 a year business, and my profit margin there is like $300,000 a year. So, just like you. And again, sounds like I'm being a salty bitch, jealous, envious, whatever. Like I said, probably 5 or 10%. Yes, sure. But my point in bringing this out is I can't help but think that the people that happen to come across his channel that are looking to start something like that will use this douche as a starting point, or like a reference, or I don't know what the word I'm looking for is exactly, but we'll use him as like a success marker or something. Again, I can't think of the word right now because of the brain fog, and it's like, people shouldn't do that, for one, especially with people on YouTube, because you just kind of more or less see the end result. And like, I'm gonna get my editor guy to Quentin, you're badass by the way, to kind of like throw up some pictures of when I first got the shop, and then kind of like cycle through like older pictures of the shop to like what I have now. And if I can find it, I'll put on a picture of like our original like launch, opening weekend, grand opening weekend hours. And if I can still find that photo, you'll see it's like from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. because I had a second shift job that I had to go work. So, like, the shop was only open for so long. And I mean, it was open, well, technically, I think I was closed on Sundays and Mondays way back then. But like as always, I'm here all the time, so I even made notes in the little like hour signs, like if I'm here, knock on the door, I'll sell you shit kind of thing. But the reason why I want to do that is to, I guess, kind of put my money where my mouth is, kind of shit, to show you guys that. And if you're local, but like for those of you who aren't, you don't really know how it started, where it evolved, and all that good stuff. So the pictures will just be here to be like, hey, I am a dumbass who sold some family land, started this shit. My grandma died. I got like $9,500 or whatever after she kicked the bucket, and that was reinvested all back into the business. So like, and then the first 3 years I worked normal full-time jobs on top of trying to do this. And then only in the past year have I, the past 7 months now, 8 months, I think, give or take, I've been able to have the shop pay for everything. But just kind of want to show you guys that while I'm ragging on this dude for doing what he does or did or whatever, that you don't have to start out like him. And this goes for any business. I don't care if you're wanting to start a card shop, a beauty salon, a lawn care, want to go out and be your own fucking electrician, start your own HVAC company, whatever, man. You have to start somewhere, and a lot of times your starting point is not going to be what someone else's starting point is going to be. And that's okay. As long as you have the drive and the ambition, the mental fortitude, and the thick-ass skin that it takes to survive your first year, 2, 3 years, or whatever, to get your name out there, to cultivate a community or a client list or whatever, you're going to be okay. You may not be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. You may not even be making $30,000 your first couple of years or whatever, which you most likely won't. I mean, full disclosure, throwing that one out there. So it's going to be a struggle. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be educational. However, you'll learn shit about yourself that you didn't know, or you thought you knew, but you needed this stress test to show you that, yeah, that is legitimate about me. And again, the cool thing about doing your own thing is that you are responsible for everything. Everything. If it fails, you're responsible for that. If it's successful, you're responsible for that. And while that scares the ever-living hell out of most people, it should. Because we've all been conditioned these last, let's see, I'm 41. My cousin is. Okay. So probably the last 60 years, 65 years or something, we've all been conditioned to basically just give up all ambition, go be a cog in a wheel somewhere, shut the fuck up, do your job, retire, die. That's how we've all been conditioned, Go to school, learn how to take orders, learn how to be on a schedule, learn how to memorize some shit, learn how to regurgitate basic information, and then somehow, some way, it got into everyone's head that college is the next step after 12 years of standard school. And unless you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, psychologist, engineer, architect, shit like that, and this is not financial or educational advice, you don't need to fucking go to college. You don't. It's a waste of your fucking time, a waste of your fucking money, because we all know plenty of people who went to college and do not use their fucking degree, or they changed majors 30 times before they finally figured out something acceptable. So, unless you're going for like a highly specialized career field, you can skate by without it. I mean, if you really just want to be like, oh, I need an associate's at least, because an associate's is like a high school diploma was 20 years ago. I understand, okay, sure, go do your, I don't know, what is it, like 2 years or 4 years or some shit. I mean, to me, after 12 years of normal school, spending an extra 4 to make 16 years at least of my life in school does not vibe well with me, but I'm getting off topic. I apologize. Just that we've all been conditioned that be a cog in the wheel, shut the fuck up, pay your taxes, die, you know, and maybe you get lucky, retire, and then die. But people didn't used to do that. People used to strike it out on their own. People used to just be like, hey man, what I'm doing is paying my bills. I'm not starving. I have a house over my head. You know, I might not have $900 to go randomly take a fucking vacation this week, but everything is paid. I'm my own boss. If I want to take a day off, I take a day off. If I need to knock off early to go take care of something, I knock off early and go take care of something. You know, people have given up a shit ton of personal freedom to be a cog in the wheel, to not have any kind of like personal responsibility for their lives. And we've all been conditioned to be that way now, to where, you know, even dumb stuff like health insurance, and not financial advice or anything like that, let me preface that again, but like health insurance and retirements and all that are tied to a job. It's bullshit. You don't have to have a job to have any of that shit. You can start your own 401k, you can start your own Roth IRA, you can get your own health insurance. You're missing a whopping, 2-3% of a fucking employer's like added bonus onto that or whatever, you know, for a 401k, but then it comes with all these other little stipulations like, you gotta wait 9 years before you're fully vetted, before you can even take out a loan against your own money, because we've been putting in money too, so it's kind of our money, and then you gotta pay us back, and it's like, man, fuck that. Like, but I have a huge problem with the way the wage slavery is nowadays, but I'm gonna try to shut up about that. Point is, sorry about yelling there. Point is, just go out and do something with yourself. Just risk it. It's going to be fine. If it fails, yeah, it's going to hurt your pride. You're going to be like, man, that fucking sucked. But guess what? The cog in the wheel, the machine is always going to need another cog in the wheel. So while it might fail and you might struggle for a couple of months or whatever to get your, you know, footing back and all that good stuff, cog in the wheel jobs are going to always be there. They really are. So ultimately, what do you have to like miss if you just try to do it yourself, you know? But I also understand that there's people out there that just don't want to. They just would rather be the cog in the wheel. They'd rather shut the fuck up like they've been told and just do what they've been told, and this is the life for me. When cool. I know plenty of people who do that shit, and they're far better off than I am. But I also don't get calls at 1 a.m. in the morning wondering why this machine went down or something. And no, that's not a jab at you. That's just what came to my head first, you know? So, like, tit for tat, man. I'm my own boss. I can tell myself to go fuck myself if I want to, you know? So, anywho, circling it back around because the squirrel went wide. With the dude in question, I wonder how many people he's dissuaded from starting shit up like that, you know, to be like, well, man, he's doing really well, and I don't think I'd be able to do that, or whatever, and they just don't. Or, like, maybe they just said, okay, cool, like, he did it, I can do it, and they started, and then, like, here he is in 6 months, I've got a fizz batch. 8 months, I'm opening a $400,000 store. And the dudes who started and was inspired by this guy is like, I must be doing something wrong. This isn't, I'm doing something wrong. I'm not succeeding like I should because he's doing way better than I am. Maybe I just need to quit, you know? And that's super fucking sad. Don't quit. Just grind away and fucking do it. So I I was wanting to do this just to, I don't know, maybe it could be a little inspiration to someone, because like I talked to somebody out on the West Coast who basically is doing the same thing. Like, they started their own shop. It's in a mall. God, I'm Southern, bear with me. And like, his shop is a spot that the mall itself, they cut up into like little sections or whatever, and that's what he's running his shop out of, and it's fucking fantastic. Like, awesome. You do you, boo boo. Like, like he said, it's, what is it? Pig with lipstick on it, but it's his pig and it's his shade of lipstick. Nothing is better. It really isn't. And you can start this shit minimal, and it's gonna be tough, but you can start it, and it doesn't have to be a card shop. You can start your card shop selling on the weekends at a flea market, like my buddy Trey out in another. Anyways, successful gaming, like video gaming store. He started selling shit at the flea market, and he just saved up money, built up inventory, and was like, okay, fuck it, finally gonna do it, and boom, he did it. And it can be done with anything, like landscaping. Ask how many people have started a landscaping company with literally like a Honda Accord that can tow a trailer, that they had a push mower, an old school like riding lawnmower on it, and a weed eater. Tons of them. And that's just how things happen organically. That's just how they happen. Someone gets tired of the bullshit, says fuck it, sells whatever they gotta sell, maybe a small loan of like $5,000-$10,000 or something that's really easy to pay back, and just says fuck it, I'm doing it. That is what we're all supposed to kind of do, is fuck it, I'm doing it, But I hope that dude that I'm talking about hasn't dissuaded people from trying to strike out on their own, or even if they're not even trying to strike out on their own, to do something part-time that they really enjoy. So maybe they're only part-time cog in the wheel, and that's perfectly acceptable too. And just like I said, I just wanted to do this video to kind of be like an inspirational thing, to be like, just ignore the shit. I'm bad about kind of comparing myself to some of the local competition, and it's not necessarily comparing, it's, well, where are they at, what did they do to get there, what's kind of the same with what I did, how am I going to pivot hearing about X, Y, and Z. And it's not necessarily comparison, it's keeping tabs on things, just like they do me, keeping tabs on things to know kind of how I should navigate going forwards. A lot of people get that confused with me when I ask about, oh, well, what are they doing, or how did they do this, or what's going on over there. And it's not necessarily I'm worried. I'm curious, and I want to know what's going on, like I said, so I know how to pivot and react to how the market in the local community might end up going. Like, I'm not a big shop around here. I don't even think a lot of people know we exist. And like, it's weird because there's maybe 20 or 30 shops in the upstate, and like, yeah, okay, cool. Tables have turned and all that good stuff, but and it's not ever going to be my time to shine per se, but I'm still sitting at the table. That doesn't mean that I have to ignore everything that's going on. I'm still sitting at the table. But anywho, I think that's all I got. Just as I've said in other videos, man, don't be scared. Just do it. I get it where it's like, I got kids, I got bills or whatever. It's not an opportune time. It's never an opportune time to do much of anything. It's not. It's the same thing with like I don't want to have kids. It's never an opportune time. It's really not, dude. You either want to do it or you don't. You can make all the excuses you want to about starting a business or whatever, but if you don't really want to do it, if you don't have the ambition, the wherewithal, the endurance, the anxiety filled nights of holy shit, are we going to go under or not? If you can't handle that, it's cool to admit that and be like, yeah, I'm just out. No harm, no foul, because like I said, we've all been conditioned to be that way. Like, I can't go out and make it on my own, but billion-dollar company corporation over there, I can help them continue to make all of the money they need to make while they give me 10% of what they make, And it's bullshit. Total bullshit. You can do this shit. It's not fun. Well, it's fun, but in that, like, punching yourself in the dick kind of way. It's educational. It's stressful. It's everything you'll ever feel in a lifetime bundled into one. And if you can take it, you can take it. If you can't, you can't. It is what it is. Like I said, give it a whirl. Worst case scenario, you go back to cog in the wheel. It's just a thing. So, anyways, guys, I think I'm done rambling about that. Yeah, just be on the lookout for fucking grifting dick nuggets like that, man. If there's a red flag or a pink flag or whatever that gets tossed up, there's probably a good reason why. Because they're not being genuine. They're not being honest. They understand that there is a certain demographic of people that will fall victim to what they're trying to spew, and unfortunately, there's no way for you to really tell if I'm doing that either. Because I can sit here and say that I'm not, which I'm not, but it's everyone will have their own interpretation. Apparently, you can tell from the back and the pictures I'll show you and some walkthroughs I've done at the shop that yeah, I'm super living large, guys. Super living large. But anyways, done rambling. I'm a shill real quick. If you're still watching 27 minutes into this shit, please think about joining the Patreon. It helps keep me alive, essentially, is what the Patreon does. Helps keep me alive. If you're local, you get a 10% discount. Sometimes I do flash sales, like this weekend. I did 15% off instead of your standard 10%. There are higher tiers to where I will ship stuff out to you. You can order stuff at almost distro pricing, etc., etc. So, really consider joining the Patreon just to help me out. It starts at $1.50 a month, man. So, if you just like the cut of my jib and just like, yeah, man, hey, you're kind of cool. Here's $1.50 a month. I appreciate it. So, I guess now I'm done, even though I've said it like 9 times. As always, my words of wisdom: life is not a dick. You don't have to take it so hard. Be safe out there, guys. I'll talk to you in the next video, and Lord knows when that'll be, but it'll happen. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe.